before about my agreements and disagreements with you. First of all, Mr. Cleveland, it really upset me 2 meetings ago that we could not get this waste management under control because you did not read your bids. You have one job to do. I'm on the board of directors for an educational association, which I will not name, but when I have to go to my board meeting, I have one job to do, and that's to read my minutes. So I'll stop there for that. Also, when I'm dealing with stuff like this, I have a sense of humor, and I'm a musician, so I go to that. So first thing, I channeled Mel Brooks, which is probably a little bit inappropriate. So here we go. So my first thing was to compose a song called Springtime for Hoschton in Georgia from the producers. So then I thought, well, I want to be a producer. But then I thought, well, no, I want to be on the Ethics Council. I'm nominating myself right now. If you want to elect me, however it works, I asked Mr. Attorney over there how it works last time, and he kept his mouth shut, so I don't know that. And then my next inappropriate thought was Avenue Q. It's a great movie. I would have, or great Broadway musical, I would have brought a puppet with me, but I don't have a rod puppet. But instead of the song, It Sucks to Be Me, it sucks to be us, because we're in a community where we need to be cognizant of social justice. Also, as you can tell, I'm a huge Linda United fan, and I am personal friends with Archie Eversole, and so I thought, we ready for you two. Inappropriate, we're not gonna do that. Then I channeled my inner Archie, and what does he do? Praises up there. So then I found my old Lutheran book of worship, and I turned immediately into the book, and hymn 212 came up, which is, let us break bread together on our knees. And I would get on my knees, except you could tell I'm a little heavy and I have a bad knee, so I need a crane, but it's not in the city budget. So there we go right there. And second of all, I'm going to turn myself around. I don't mean to put my backside to you. I'm not being disrespectful, but I just want to address the community.
Honey,
my time is up.
Yes.
All right, drop the mic. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Tracy Jordan.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Thank you for your service. I have several things to say this evening, and pardon me if I turn my back to you, but some of it will be addressed to the audience. I'm from Chestnut Chase, here in the city limits of Hoschton, and I have been here since 1996. For those of you that do not know me, and I know most of the council, I know the law enforcement people, I know our new city administrator, and I know most of the people that are in this audience, because I've been a pharmacist in Hoschton since 1996. There's a lot of things.
Tracy.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, you have to address us.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I took the cue from her, and I thought we could turn around and do that. I apologize for having my back to you. I've been a pharmacist in the community since 1996, and I've seen a lot of changes, some good and some bad. The thing that dismays me the most these days is that there seems to be no middle ground. There's no person in this room that serves that I believe is malicious. I think that everyone basically has a good heart and wants to do good things for Hoschton, as I do. I'm thrilled to see developers that want to come to our town and help make it grow. I don't think that anything that's been said has been completely revealed to be the truth. There's 3 sides to every story. There's he said, she said, and there's the truth in the middle.
Not your turn, ma'am.
And I would like to make sure that before we cast stones at everyone, that we all make sure we are perfect, because the last perfect person that I know that walked this earth was nailed to a cross. I am far from perfect, and I dare say that anyone behind me is perfect either. I understand that leadership is tough. I've been a leader. Leadership is standing there when things go wrong and things are not like you want them, and facing it and working together to make it better. It is not casting stones and throwing judgment and making personal assaults at other people. Amen. It's coming together and working as a team, because if you have 2 unequally yoked mules, you will never, ever move forward smoothly. And I challenge you as council members, and I challenge these people behind me in the audience to do the same thing. Stop your personal attacks, have your facts. Have you ever asked yourself, if you're new to this community, if you're getting the whole story? Leadership, as I've heard it said by many people in this room, leadership is not about being the third choice for an office. It's not about doing your job and running away when times get tough and it's a little too warm for you. Leadership is standing there and facing the fight and doing what is right and moving forward, finding that middle ground and working together. I'm tired of the fact that social media makes it so easy for personal attacks. I challenge everyone, if you've got something to say it to their face. Don't do it behind their back. And stop your petty, childish actions. Have an adult spirit about you.
Amen. Thank you.
Okay, Ron Cooper, would you like to come and speak? Give your name, address, and whether you live in the city limits or not.
My name is Ron Cooper. I live at 7290 Grand Union Drive. I'm a Hoschton resident. I don't know where the city boundaries are. I just know I'm a Hoschton resident. And I thank the council for letting me be here, for letting me come and address you today. I was here a few weeks ago and didn't get to speak. But I am really appalled and concerned about what I read in the paper and what's being said about hiring the city administrator. And it's been attributed to you, Mayor, that you said, well, we're not ready for a black person in that position because of the city makeup. That's illegal. It's immoral to say. And if it, let's clear the air. If those comments were not made by you and Councilman Cleveland, publicly stated, let's get it out in the open. If you did make those statements as a city resident, you should resign. And I am committed that unless those statements were not made by you, and there was two people on the council, I think that broke it to the news that you did make those statements. And if you made those statements, I promise you this, I will knock on every door in the city to get you recalled. And if you love this city, you should resign and resign today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, John?
Again, I'm John Carden. I live at 595 Country Ridge Drive in Hoschton. I am in the city limits. And I will just kind of parlay off of what Tracy said. I haven't lived here 2 years. 2 years is how long we've lived here. And, you know, it's like Tracy said, it's easy to jump to conclusions because social media gives everybody the opportunity to have a story. And that's all it is right now, is a story. If they were said, then the proper channels need to be done and things need to be taken care of. But right now it is just hearsay. Right now it is just he said, she said, and like Tracy said, my grandfather always used to tell me, when you're pointing a finger at somebody else, remember you got 3 more pointing back at you. So I listened to that, and like Tracy said also, we are a small community and we should be working together instead of attacking this person or attacking that person or backstabbing this person or whatever. It's just gotten to the point now where it's ridiculous. No city business can get done because, I mean, these police officers could be doing something else. It's just gotten to the point where it's nonsense. Social media, just let it run its course and let the city do its business and find out what the truth is instead of making up the truth. And, you know, everybody in this community has to live together, work together, eat together, hang out together, you know, and it's just to the point where it's nonsense. If it's true, so be it. If it's not, so be it. But nobody knows. So I'm just gonna say, let the city get back to what the city was before this happened. Because honestly, in my opinion, the story broke, because just like every other story, the media is gonna sensationalize stuff, no matter what. That's how they get people to watch the news. If it was just a plain, simple story, nobody would watch the news. So that's my opinion, and that's it.
Madam Mayor, did you make those statements? Did you make those statements?
Pete Fuller?
Hi. It's Pete Fuller, Chairman of the Start Circle in Jefferson. I'm a county resident though, and this is a county issue at this point because I live in Jackson County, and every one of these news stories has said Jackson County in it. So this reflects on me, this reflects on us. And I'm sorry, there is no middle ground for racism in 2019.
Right.
I'm sorry, I heard Mr. Jim Cleveland with his own mouth speak that he could not stand interracial couples. That is not okay in the year 2019. We are 50 years removed from Loving versus Virginia. We have people in this community living here, lots of them, who are offended, who are hurt, that have mixed race children, and have to know that they have a person on their council that cannot stand to look at them. That is not okay. That is not okay for this community. That's not okay for this county. We are past this. I want us to be past this. I don't want to be here. I've got better things to do than to sit here and yell at people for being racist in 2019. Okay? So this recall is happening. I am dead set. We've packed Bush Hall twice in this last month with people ready to go knock doors now. Okay? We've got people right here that are committed to do it. We're going to do this. Okay? And Ms. Gilbert, where have you been? This is a 5-member council, 6 people. We've heard from everybody but you. I know that leadership is hard, and I know you may not want to get in the middle of it. You're in the middle of it, okay? We need to hear from you. And I know there's litigation or whatever, but you can say racism is bad. You can say things that aren't going to get the city in trouble. Just at a certain point, silence is complicity. We need you to stand up and do something. Because you are the swing vote here. I can understand that. So, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, council.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now Thomas needs to read something before we go any further.
As I said at the beginning of the last meeting, towards the end of the meeting tonight, there'll be time for public comment. Those that signed up before the meeting will be able to address the mayor and council for 3 minutes each. The mayor and council will listen to your comments and concerns on advice of outside counsel. As a result of threatened or potential litigation, they are not going to respond, comment, or answer any questions. That is not to say you cannot pose questions or that they would be out of order, but don't expect the mayor or council members to respond. Likewise, one should not interpret the lack of response as acquiescence or agreement with the speaker's statements. It is a time for public comment, but it will not be a time for dialogue or engagement.
Thank you, Thomas. Ms. Denny?
Hi, I'm at 79 Hunters Way. Mindy, your silence is deafening. Your failure to condemn the illegal, discriminatory actions by Teresa and the hideous comments made by your fellow councilmen have made you complicit in their deeds. You've chosen to align yourself on the wrong side of history, and it is a shame you can't be added to the recall list. However, you can expect tremendous opposition if you choose to try to go another round in the fall, because you are guilty by association at this point. And since you are a visual person, here is the Merriam-Webster definition of hate for your consideration.